As right now you are watching the Midwestern Junior Tournament here at St. Charles Lanes. I am Joe Petzel. Alongside of me right now is Brendan Pick. Currently, you guys are watching the round of 8 in the scratch, and the first match of the final of the step ladder in the handicap division. Currently, Casey Gotel, the number 4 seed, is taking on the number 3 seed, Derek Williams. As we pan down to the scratch side, number 1 seed, Matt Pearson, bowling number 8 seed, Kyle Sherman. Number 2 seed, Ben Pallardy, takes on number 7 seed, Jason Ribard. Number 3 seed, Mick Eaton, faces number 6 seed, Ronnie Fujita. And rounding out the final 2 spots in the top 8, the number 4 seed, Armando Godoy, takes on number 5 seed, Riley Smith. Said after the handicap matches, you saw Godoy right there put up a strike. In the handicap division, the winner of this game will face number 2 seed, Blaze Beckham. And the winner of that game will go on to take the number 1 seed, Hunter Ratchet. As you see, Derek Williams there easily converts his 9 spare, giving him an 81 in the 5th frame. As he's got a little bit of work to do to catch up to Casey Gotel, who currently has 118 in the 8th, working off a 9 spare. Down on the lower end, Ben Pallardy there struck. Armando Godoy also struck, and even Ronnie Fujita. So currently it's a strike fest down in the scratch division.
Yeah, although Ronnie's was a little bit creative.
Yeah, for the folks who have not watched the qualifying rounds, who are here for the final round, for the round of 8, you've missed some pretty big scores. Armando Godoy finished off the game 6 with a 290. Matt Pearson, who shot a grand total of 1545, which is right now the highest score that's ever been shot in an MJT. He shot multiple 270 games, multiple 260 games. To sum it all up, he averaged 257.5. So let's round it, 258. That's unbelievable. Highest average we've ever had in an MJT, highest series we've had. So congratulations to Matt. But a lot of high scores, multiple 279s, a lot of 260s, 250s. Just a lot of 200s in general, let's just say that.
And for those of you who watched just now, saw Ronnie Fujita, a very interesting split. I believe it involved the 6 and 7 and all sorts of funky stuff.
Kyle Sherman down at the end converting the 1-2 as Riley Smith gets it in high, leaving the Greek church. So we pan back down to the handicap division. Casey Gotel converts another 9 spare, currently with a 137 in the 6th, as she walks up in the 8th, as Derek Williams, winning the strike right now in the 7th, has a possibility to jump and try to get back into this match.
We are in the 7th frame. It looks like just about all of our matches are on pace with each other, which is always very nice. And Casey Gotel steps up here in lane 28 with her score being relatively competitive in either of the divisions. She is looking, unfortunately does not carry that 9-pin and has 9 spare, 3 in a row, and then 4 consecutive 9s, all of them being spares, and hopefully this too will be a spare conversion.
She either 9s or she strikes.
And if you were looking to 9 or strike, May 3rd, we have a fantastic 9-pin fundraiser at Kingpin Lanes.
Good way to throw that in there. On May 3rd, Kingpin Lanes, the MJT is hosting its first annual fundraiser, which is a 9-pin tournament. More information, please visit www.mjtbowling.com. Just a reminder for all those that are watching too, tomorrow we have our first Midwestern Open tournament, which we like to call the MOT. It is a $55 entry fee for anyone who has not reserved their spot in advance, and it's a no age limit. So if you are interested in bowling, also visit the MJT Bowling website at www.mjtbowling.com, or call St. Charles Lanes and see if there's any way you can reserve your spot for tomorrow. Trust me, you do not want to miss out on this tournament tomorrow.
Should be exciting. And back to our step-ladder match, we see Derek Williams throw a nice shot. Unfortunately, he leaves a 7-pin. And although he converts, is staring a 35-pin.
Pretty much a 35-pin deficit.
Yeah.
And he's not throwing the ball back. It's just he's not getting the breaks. You saw he left the 7-pin. He boned an 8-pin. He's throwing the ball very good. He's just not getting the carry that he wants.
And Casey is not giving him any opens either. And he is a recipient of 2 pins of overall handicap and delivers a much-needed strike there to try to put as much pressure as he can on Casey as this stepladder match comes to its final 2 frames.
Well, you know, that strike does help because now there's the possibility of if Casey throws 2 bad frames, there's a chance that Derek can still be in this match depending on what happens these next 2 shots. As we take a look down here at the scratch, Mick Eaton's going to be coming up on the left side. As we pan back to the handicap, Casey Gotel missing it right, leaving the 210. So now there's a possibility. The door has opened. Depending on what Casey does here. Even if she opens, she must mark at least in the 10th frame.
And good count at that.
So we pan down to the scratch. Jason Robart coming a little high, leaving the 3 pit. Here's Riley Smith.
His
Goes 10 in the pit. And here goes Casey Gotel.
And she
converts it. As she spares it, it currently puts her at 174 in the 8th, and that definitely helped. Now, there's still a chance for Derek Williams to win this match. All Casey needs to do is throw a split that she can't pick up.
I don't know. The way she's throwing it here, I don't expect any less than a filled frame. Although in her mind, I'm sure she would like to send all 10 back.
As that one comes high, almost leaving the 610 though. So currently she has a 192. The 8 pins, she's right at 200.
Only needs to convert, and the match will be over.
A mark here gives her the win.
Anything less, and Derek Williams can step up with a chance to steal this match.
If Casey does not spare, Mark will need to come up and get at least 3 in a row. And indeed, she covers it. So Casey Gotel is going to advance and face Blaise Beckham into the semifinal round of the handicap division. As we take a look down at the scratch division, there looks like a 187 for Riley Smith, but Armando Godoy he's right now at 7. He got the back 7 going into the 10th frame.
Casey finishes up with a light 4 pin to put up a grand total, including handicap, of 232, and that will simply be too much for Mr. Williams to overcome. But on your screen now, you will see Jason Robar stepping up, attempting to deliver another strike, and almost paralyzed out the 5-7.
All right, here we go. We are looking at the payouts. Handicap division, 3rd place gets $60. 2nd place gets $100, and the grand total for 1st place will walk away with $200. In the scratch division, 6th place will get you $55. 5th place gets you $65. 4th is $75. 3rd place is $100. 2nd place is $150, and rounding out the payout in scratch is a lovely $300. Man, I wish I could walk away with that. As you see, Armando gets the strike. That gives him a 247. 247, and it looks like over 187. So it looks like a 60-pin lead right off the bat for Armando. As it looks down there, Kyle Sherman putting up a run and going in the 10th frame against Matt Pearson. As Ronnie Fujita stepping up on the left. Indeed gets the strike. As Riley Smith are going to start game 2 right off the bat. And Riley Smith out the window, leaving the PBA washout at 1-2-4-10. Ben Pallardy goes 10 back in the pit. As right now we are going to be retrieving some scores to find out what everyone shot. Once we do that, we will definitely update you guys on what we have.
But regardless of the scores, Riley Smith is looking to get back into this match.
And converts the washout. Riley Smith definitely needs to pull out a big game if he wants to come out and beat Armando Godoy.
And bounce back big games have been the storyline of the day. As we watch Eaton paralyze a 5-7 again. Here comes Ben Pallardy, our defending champion, looking to repeat if he can.
Leaves a 10 pin. You know, I've realized he's been throwing the Mastermind Genius all day. Has not made ball change compared to how most of these other bowlers have. You know what? Armando is throwing the ball very good. And he really has not missed, especially these last couple games.
No, I believe with that 247 last game, that's a grand total of 537 for his last 2 games.
Yeah, Ustream.tv, and actually, if you go to the MJTbowling.com website.
And Armando crumbles the rack again as Mick Eaton goes high, leaving the baby split. And Armando is on a tear. Ben Pallardy will attempt to mimic the same result. And he does as well. 2 different approaches, but the same result. Armando runs in the Swisher 7.
As you see getting, well, you really can't see, but we're going to make the change right now. Down here on the handicap pair, you see Casey Gotel, the winner of last match against Derek Williams, is coming over to face Blaze Beckham, who currently sits second. Loser of this game, no matter what, is going to get scholarship money, at least $60 worth. Winner will advance on to the finals to take on the #1 seed, Hunter Rychech. As we jump down to the scratches division, you see Jason Robarg leaving a 10 pin as Riley Smith comes up trying to get himself back into the match. And indeed gets all 10 in the pit. As Jason stops his approach, must have felt something awkward and puts it back down his barrel.
And nothing wrong with that. When you know something's off, there's no shot clock here today. You start or don't make that one shot cost you more than it should have. Jason will regroup, attempting to run in a single pin spare to continue his match.
Looking down at the end, Matt Pearson going through the face. Looked like he might have left the 6-7, maybe the 10 involved. I can't see from this far down.
Riley Smith will continue to battle, striking of his own.
As he puts a double up on the board. As it does, indeed, Matt Pearson does leave the 6-7-10 against Kyle Sherman. Armando Godoy here, getting ready to set as Jason Robarg gets all 10 out of there. As Armando, all he's looking to do is keep his decent sized lead, and he will for sure advance into the final 4, into the step ladder finals.
That's what you want to do here as Ronnie Fujita picks up his spare.
As here's Ben Pallardy getting ready as the handicap division. Looks like scores are in. Casey Gotel is going to start us up on lane 27. Casey Gotel looking to be another MJT winner. Won the handicap division 2 months ago back at Kingpin Lanes. She was the first female to win an MJT event. As on the scratch side, Ben Pallardy, right now, the only one left of the remaining champions who could be the first to possibly go back-to-back. As Casey Gotel starts off this game, leaving the 2-4-5-7.
That's kind of nice. The two-hander is looking for 2 titles.
Indeed, he is trying to make Belmo, trying to get to that Belmo status as he misses a 10 pin. Definitely see the disappointment right there. So here comes Riley Smith working off that double. And indeed, as another one, as Casey Gotel easily converts her 6 count.
And we're about to get updated scores from the first match to see how these 2-game total pinfall matches in Scratch are taken, and while we are calculating those, for those of you who are watching at home, Blaze has essentially 40 pins extra on Casey, so during this handicap match, Casey will need to find a way to make those pins up if she wants to win.
Here we go. First match, Matt Pearson, the number 1 seed versus number 8 Kyle Sherman. Matt Pearson 234, Kyle Sherman 225.
I just talked with Matt Pearson, and he said that you're going to be seeing the loft here really soon.
So he will be getting left. I'm not surprised with how Matt is able to throw the ball. The number 3 seed, Mick Eaton, 238 against number 6 seed, Ronnie Fujita, who shoots 203. So Mick Eaton has the 1-game lead. And the number 2 seed, Ben Pallardy, shoots 246 against number 7 seed, Jason Robarg, who shoots a 193. And our final match, Riley Smith, who's the number 5 seed, shoots 187 against number 4 seed, Armando Godoy, with a 247.
And let's congratulate Joey Petzold with the correct pronunciation on Armando's last name.
So I have been saying it right. Okay.
You got it.
So here's Beckman going for a 5-pin and misses it. So he goes open to start this game off as Casey Gotel goes the 6th spare. See if she's able to capitalize on that open. You know, looking at the scores, Matt Pearson only has a 9-pin lead over Kyle Sherman. Do you think Kyle has what it takes to get those 9 extra pins and get ahead of him?
Well, Matt certainly has scored very well today, although Kyle Sherman must have done something right if he was able to sneak into our round of 8, and he's, you know, bowling with no fear. What does he have to lose?
Indeed, that is true. Looking at the other scores, Ben Pallardy against Jason Robarg. That's a pretty big lead. I believe that's over 50. Yeah, it's a 53-pin lead between them. It is a 60-pin lead for Armando against Riley Smith, and then Mick Eaton has a 33-pin lead over Ronnie Fujita. So the closest match right now is Matt Pearson versus Kyle Sherman.
But you know, with these matches being 50 or 60 pins apart, while the others being relatively closer, just because you're 60 up doesn't mean anything. How many 270s did we see today?
That's indeed true, because right now, if you're looking, Armando is trying to pull out a decent game as Riley Smith right now has the 9 spare 4 in a row. So he's on that 290 pace, while Armando, I believe if he punches out, it can get 250, maybe 240. So there's the possibility. And we can tell you this right now, Ronnie Fujita, whenever we jump back down to the Scratch division, is already left. And when I mean left, he's already lofting. So we already have 1 guy out there. Casey Gotel looking to convert the 6, 7, 10. And only gets 2 as it puts an open. And now Beckham now has the chance to get back into this game.
And for those of you who are watching, that was Casey's first open so far in today's step ladders. As you see there, Ben Pallardy getting ready. We're going to bring you back down to the handicap as Beckham trying to get himself back into this match. And he puts 10 in the pit. We jump down to the Scratch division. Here's Riley Smith, who's working on 5 in a row, going for 6. Leaves the 7-pin. So it goes 9 spare, 5 in a row, 9 count. So he still has a lead over Armando, but he was trying to get that extra oomph to try to get back into this. Yeah, while in the game he holds a lead, the overall match is still in favor of Armando, and Riley will need to figure out a way to carry those 7 pins if he hopes to advance.
As Ben Pallardy there goes 10 in the pit. We jump back over to the handicap side as Beckham, going a little high, leaving the 6-pin as he converts the 6-pin. Now we take a look at the score. Beckham right now has a 38 in the 3rd frame, working on a 9 spares. Casey Gotel steps up in her 4th frame as she has a 48 in the 3rd. But as we know right now, Beckham has the advantage with having the 40-pin extra handicap lead.
And on the left side of your screen there, you just caught our amazing producer Matt Turek. But slightly before that, you just witnessed Armando Godoy stone a 9-pin, and that may be pivotal in the rebound movement that Riley Smith is attempting to pull off.
As Casey Gotel coming up light, leaving the bucket. It doesn't look like her ball is either finishing or it looks like she's trying to really put some speed on it to play it tight.
Yeah, count won't hurt her on there as she just came off opening on a split, but the bucket is not always an easy conversion, and she will need to spare here in order to continue the pursuit of that 40-pin difference.
As Jason Robark down there gets a strike, it gives him 3 in a row. As Casey Gotel kicks out the 8-pin to convert the bucket. As Godoy easily covers his 9-pin. As Riley Smith now steps up to try to get himself back into this match. Here's Ben Pallery right in front of you.
McEaton just converted his 6-10. And Ben delivers a pivotal strike as Jason against Jason Robarch. Riley Smith hopes to continue his striking. Does not look happy, and sure enough, hits light, leaving portions of the bucket.
As we take a look here down on the handicap side, Casey Gotel coming a little high, leaving the 4-7. As you saw in the back, Ronnie Fujita there striking, but definitely loft that ball, I'm going to guess about 30 feet down the lane.
Yeah, I believe he left a 4-pin, something on the left side of the lane.
I think he did. I believe he's actually throwing the melee. Indeed, it was a 4-pin. As you just saw there, Ben Pallardy strikes to give himself a turkey.
A spare conversion by Ronnie Fujita, and we move back to the step ladders, the handicap division, as Blaze Beckham leaves a 4-7. Hopes to spare here to maintain his lead over Casey Gotel.
He kicked out that 10-pin just a little late, almost leaving a split, which could have made this match a little bit more interesting. Oh, the way he looked, it looked like he was going to chop that.
And that's why we throw plastic at spares, folks.
So we take a look at the score update here in the handicap division. Currently, Casey Gotel through 5 frames has a 66 in the 4th frame, working on an 8 spare. As Blaze Beckham has a 56 in the 4th frame, working on an 8 spare, going into the 6. But remember, with the handicap advantage, he has an extra 40 pins over Casey, as he comes a little left, leaving a 3-pin.
And Riley Smith just then was fortunate enough to cross over, striking Brooklyn and maintaining his chance to come back. But Armando hopes to shut the door here as he throws yet another strike.
From the way it looks, I believe that's a 207. Yes, 207 for Riley Smith right now, entering the 10th frame. As Armando has a 158 in the 7th. He has a double entering the first shot into the 10th. As Jason Robark easily covers his spare. As Godoy gets the messenger 3 in a row, and from the way it looks, that's going to shut out Riley Smith.
Down in the stepladders, Casey Gotel throws a much-needed strike, throwing the 5 into the 7 and off the wall back onto the deck. She will need to continue striking to make up those 40 pins. She is currently down 11 scratch, 29 if you include the handicap, but with a double here can cut that another 10 pins.
As Armando adds another strike to just extend his lead, as Armando is going to get by beating Riley Smith. As Casey Gotel here looking to put up a much needed double to keep herself into this match. Doesn't really come up leaving the 5-pin.
She almost kicks it out. That's an unfortunate leave, but if she runs it in here, we'll be looking at 106 in the 6th frame with a possible 216 scratch.
As I'm looking down, Armando finishes off with the back 5, shoots 248. 247, 248, Armando in the round of 8. So he will beat Riley Smith. And this will just depend on where he's going to be seated, depending on how the guys ahead of him do. As Fujita, Lofton once again gets all 10 out. You know, if you add the 290 game that Armando shot last game, his total, it came out to be what, like
785.
785. If you think about it, it only put him 12 pins behind Pearson today with that 797. As we jump down to the handicap division, Beckham converting a 3-9 sleeper to give him a spare in the 7th. Score update in the handicap division. Casey Gotel, the number 4 seed, currently has a 106 in the 6th, working on a 9 spare in the 7th. As Beckham currently has a 93 in the 6th, has a 8 spare in the 7th, and leaves the baby split in the 8th frame. Now this could be big. A spare here will possibly keep this game intact for him. An open can definitely open the door, and Casey Gotel can have a chance to make it to the championship game.
Certainly, if he fails to convert this split, which we will see if he does so in a second, and he unfortunately does not convert, we'll leave him with a 120 in the 8th frame. If Casey can step up and strike here, she will all but erase that 40-pin gap and make this a single-digit game with only a few frames to go.
This handicap game just got a lot more interesting.
There on your left, you witness Ben Pallardy throwing what appears to be a strike. And Riley Smith just getting out of the way.
As Casey Gotel steps up in the much-needed strike. Winner of this game is going to go on to face Hunter Reichert into the championship match. As that strike right there definitely helped out Casey. A double here is going to be huge.
And that might have been the best shot she's thrown this match. She's struck a couple of other times, but that one was very decisive. Let's see if she can back it up and continue her ascent.
Looking down there, it looks like Ben Pallardy shot 200, and from the way it looks, Pallardy looks like he might have won. So, looks like he was able to beat Jason Robarg. So Ben Pallardy right now at least has the number 1 seed if Matt Pearson does not win.
And reading body language, Kyle Sherman has just struck. I'm not sure if that was off screen or not, but he seemed relatively confident. We have tournament director Ricky Matsko running us scores at the moment, heading into the booth with us. How you doing, Ricky?
I'm doing all right. I just want to give a quick score update that we have a 9-pin match with Pearson down here. Kyle is currently up 13 pins. They're both on 5 in a row. This is Pearson's 9th frame down here. Throws a strike, so he can get up there, strike out, forcing Kyle to hit the first strike. I'm sorry, the first 2 strikes in the 10th frame.
That's going to be an interesting 10th frame right there.
So this is huge. Absolutely huge.
And down in handicap, we have Blaze Beckham going Brooklyn, managing to leave only the 5-pin. A conversion here will make a victory that much closer.
Currently what we're doing right now is we have Matt Turek and Ricky Matsko down by our lower camera, who we're pulling it up right now. That Matt Pearson you see right there in the 10th gets the first one. And we're going to keep it over there because you can also see the match between Mick Eaton and Ronnie Fujita. As you see, Matt Pearson there gets the first one, so he needs the next one. to at least force Kyle Sherman the double in the 10th. We're going to leave it. We're going to try to keep switching back and forth because Blaze Beckham comes up in the 10th, leaving the 2-pin, and that's going to make this last game a lot more interesting if he makes this spare. Indeed, he does convert as Matt Pearson. Looks like he left an 8 count. It looks like an 8-pin. Indeed, it is. So Kyle Sherman has the chance to come up and put up a big number as Ronnie Fujita lofts it a little bit. But we're going to bring this back to the handicap division.
And for those who are watching, Mr. Blaze needs only, I believe it's 8 pins to win the match, and delivers a
I think
strike.
it's 9, so that should be enough.
And that will put the match just out of reach. Is to win, Casey would have to shoot a 198. Unfortunately, striking out would only put her at a 196, and so now we move down to scratch to watch the conclusion of Kyle Sherman versus Matthew Pearson.
As we're going to bring it down to the end in the scratch, as you see, Casey Gotel will not be able to advance. So our final match in the handicap division, Blaze Beckham is going on to take the number 1 seed, Hunter Reichert, in the championship match. As here comes Kyle Sherman stepping up in the 10th. This is he must.
No, Kyle's already thrown his first ball in the 10th, so he is already locked out.
He already.
Matt Pearson. So Matt Pearson eliminated. Your 8th seed, Kyle Sherman, goes on to bowl Armando Godoy.
So Kyle Sherman beats Matt Pearson. So Kyle Sherman's going to be the number 4 seed. He will go on to verse Armando Godoy. Ben Pallardy, last month's champion, is going to be sitting as the number 1 seed once again. You called it from the beginning that there's a possibility of a repeat and he was going to be the number 1 seed. And indeed he is.
He had such a good look on fresh, and I mean, you mentioned the odd occurrence of 1 seeds just really struggling in bracket match play, and Kyle Sherman definitely had some momentum, and Pearson just unfortunately wasn't able to close that match out. Pearson will take home our 5th place money, and
it's still a decent amount. He makes money back plus more. I believe it's 70, maybe 80, but can't. Yeah, it's a disappointment not to advance to the finals, but you shoot 1,500. You're making your money back and a little bit more, so you really can't be disappointed. And from the way it sounds like, Pearson will probably be back tomorrow, bowling the Mott event.
I certainly would if I was able to shoot 1,550 for 6 games.
As our final match taking place right now, Mick Eaton and Ronnie Fujita are still finishing up down there, as Mick is going to be finishing off the 10th. Not sure about where the differences are, what the game is down there. But whenever we get a chance, we'll find out who advanced. But right now, we know for the first match of the scratch division, which will be taking place on 21 and 22, Kyle Sherman, the number 8 seed, is going to be taking on the number 4 seed, Armando Godoy. As we bring it back down here to the handicap division, we got the final championship match here. Blaze Beckham will be taking on Hunter Reichert, and Reichert has a 62 pin advantage in the handicap division. So that's going to help. As you see Ricky Matsko sitting down there, what he is doing, he is adding the handicap onto the total, so we will be able to see we'll be able to read the scores easier, and so you'll be able to see what the difference is between the scores. As you see down, well, Handicap's still practicing. We're going to make our transition down. As you see, Ronnie Fujita in the corner as him and Mick Eden are finishing up this match. As Mick gets a strike as Fujita's going to come up, while the Handicap division, the championship match, is warming up.
A nice spare conversion there by Ronnie. Win or lose, he always seems to have a smile on his face, and I certainly appreciate a positive attitude.
As Fujita
Makes an extreme move to the far right.
I'm going to guess over a 30 board move right.
And while it was a beautiful strike, doing it, if he fails to win the match, kind of just makes you go home and say, why didn't I do that earlier?
That's one of those shots where it's like, man. As the final match down at the end, Mick Eaton shoots 179 and Ronnie Fujita shoots 178. So Mick Eaton will be your number 2 seed going into the final, going into the step round. As you see in front of you right now, the number 8 seed Kyle Sherman taking on the number 4 seed Armando Godoy. Kyle Sherman's the number 4 seed in the step ladder as Armando the number 3 seed. Winner of that will go on to play Mick Eaton, and the winner of that match is going to face the last month champion at our MJT and Frontier, Ben Pallardy. So the chance to be a 2-time champ is still out there, and I think it could be done.
And Joey, we had some audio problems this morning, so I'm not sure if people heard, but at the very first game, we selected bowlers we thought might be successful today. Myself selecting Ben and Joey selecting Armando, both of whom are in our stepladder today.
I believe so, yes. And I think Armando can get, with how Armando's been throwing the ball, I don't see him not making it to the final, to the championship match. I can see him doing it, and I said from the beginning of today that he was going to make it to the Final Four. And with how he's been throwing those last couple games with the 290 and then the 240s that he just put up in the round of 8, I think he's going to give Kyle Sherman a run for his money.
Well, he is certainly bowling well, but if Kyle Sherman or Mick Eaton have anything to say about it, we will not see Armando Godoy in the finals. Until then, we will have to watch Sherman versus Armando Godoy, the winner going on to face Mick Eaton, and then, as we said, the winner of that match going on to face Ben Pallardy.
As you see right now, the Handicap Championship match has started off as Blaze Beckham starts off with a strike, and Hunter Reichert starts off with an 8 open. So with over a 64, I believe it was, a 64 or 63 pin difference, 62, wow. There was a 62 pin difference between Hunter and Blaze. So Hunter's got the 62 pin lead. Now Blaze needs to get himself back into this match. And from starting off the strike, definitely a good start to get into this match.
Yeah, you know, I really enjoy that we have this handicap division for bowlers who are still trying to build their game. And, you know, just because you're not at the level where you can average, you know, 257.5 on a sport compliant pattern and, you know, come out here and bowl our scratch division, doesn't mean we don't want you here. Please come out, bowl the handicap, learn a few things, and bowl for a whole lot of scholarship money, folks.
As you see Armando there starting off the first match of the step ladders in the scratch division, coming a little high but gets all 4. As Beckman, losing his balance at the line, almost falls over but leaves the 5 pin. So he's lucky that he did not cross the foul light.
Oh, it was totally planned. He was walking that one out. It was.
As he goes to shoot for the 5 pin. And he misses it. So we take a look down here at Kyle Sherman. Kicks out the 7-pin. And we have a close game down there in the scratch. They both struck through one.
On pace to shoot 300 down there, folks.
Indeed. 300 versus 300. Here we go. As you see, Beckham once again leaving another 5-pin. Now, I wonder if he's going to get in his head with missing that last one, if he's going to be able to rebound and convert the spare here.
Well, the last match, he was the recipient of the handicap bonus, and in this match, he unfortunately is on the other side of that, and it seems that he has let that get to his mental game, again failing to convert the 5-pin.
And that's his second 5-pin in a row that he missed. As right now, Kyle Sherman, as I thought was going to throw a shot, must have made an adjustment. So here is Hunter Reichert working on a spare in the second. This one goes a little right of the head pin, leaving the 1-2. Here comes Kyle Sherman working on the strike. Good shot, gets a double to start off this match.
We see Hunter Reichert chop that 1-2 leave, getting only the 1-pin, and we'll step up here on lane 27 in just a moment. But before that, we watch Armando Goy continue to strike. There is no stopping him, folks.
I don't see him like stopping at all. With how, like I said, with how he's been throwing this ball, he's going to give a lot of people in the step ladder a run for their money.
And Kyle is certainly talented. I'm not saying I don't think he can win. I'm saying if he wants to win, he will have to match a slew of strikes because Armando is here to play.
As we take a look back down at Armando's shot, getting a little right. Oh!
And when you have it, folks. Armando rolls a light 2-pin, falling off balance in that shot and still managing to strike.
You see there Hunter Reichert converting his 3-spare, his 3-count, which is, you saw when he was on his way back, making sure he was following through that he would make sure he would hit his target and convert his spare. Now you see Beckham taking that big breath before he walks up there. That ball a little fast, not coming up, leaving the 1-2-7-9. As we take a look at Kyle Sherman getting prepared.
Already in front of the ball return.
As that one's in. And it doesn't kick out the 10-pin. As Beckham
Nearly converts.
almost converted it. So 3 opens in a row for Beckham. As he's got a lot to make up, as he currently is, from what this is showing, 59 pins down, but that's not including the spare that Hunter Reichert has.
And that shot was much better, leaving now only the 2-8. It did read the lane, and a continued adjustment may put Blaze Beckham back into the pocket and give him a chance to win this match as we watch Kyle Sherman convert his 10-pin, trailing in the match by only a handful of sticks. 10, I believe.
Oh, man. And Blaze Beckham with another open. That's his 4th open in a row. And this is opening the door wider and wider for Hunter Reichert.
Blaze just needs to sit himself down, reset himself mentally, and attempt to bowl the second half of this game as if the first half never happened.
Well, no matter what happens in this match, second place in the handicap division will be going away with $100 in scholarship, as the winner of this match will be taking $200 in scholarship. As we jump back onto the scratch division, Kyle Sherman trying to get a run going off that 10-pin.
And it checks on him early, nearly kicks out the 6-10, leaving only the 10-pin on that relatively high shot.
So I heard him from down here. He said carry, so he didn't let it off his hand, but as Hunter converts the 4-spare.
It's not every day you see a 3-spare, 4-spare, but
the thing is he might have it. He might be struggling on his first shot, but he is converting his spares, and that's exactly what you want to see kids, especially this young, do, is to make spares, because spares are the key to the game.
absolutely.
As Kyle Sherman converts his 10-pin, Hunter Reichert coming in a little light, leaving the 5-pin. As we jump back down to Armando Godoy, who starts off the game with the front three, looking to make it 4 in a row on Kyle Sherman.
Better footwork
Indeed.
on that shot and collapses the 8-pin. When the 8-pin falls late, you know you're doing something right.
We were told to give a shout out here, and we are going to. Shout out to Sydney Barnes, who usually would be here with us, helping out with the scores and doing everything. She is currently back home in the Rockford area. So, Sydney, I'm going to do a quick view. Say hi. We miss you. Can't wait till you get back down here. As we take a look back in the handicap side, Beckham going Brooklyn, leaving the 5-8. When we look down on the scratch side, Armando coming a little high after going with the front 4, leaving the 4-pin. And we'll jump back to the handicap. This is where Beckham needs to convert this spare just to have a chance. And that one misses left also.
And you know, I really think that missing that first 5-pin just really psyched him out.
I think so. And
Wait.
now it's just a head game. As Armando down in the scratch side easily converts his 4-pin. So he has at least a 30-pin lead over Kyle Sherman down there. As Beckham goes left, taking 3 off the left, and you can just see
The frustration.
indeed, it's getting to him now. As we jump back down to the scratch side, Kyle Sherman up on the right lane, lane 22, already somewhat in front of the ball return. And that comes a little high, but kicks up 9. So gets right back in it. Back down to the scratch side, Beckham unable to convert that spare. So that's 6 opens in a row. I think it's just a head game because usually Beckham's the bowler that does not do that. So it's either he must be having a difficult time down there in the lanes. As Hunter Reichert going a little left, leaving 1-3-6.
And there is certainly an added level of pressure being here in a stepladder type format, being on live stream, and while he may or may not win, the experience of just being here at this tournament is something that will certainly make him a better bowler for tournaments to come. Well, Hunter Reichert looks to spare, unfortunately does not, but
We can already tell this match is already locked out, as Hunter Reichert is going to be the winner of the handicap division at St. Charles.
yeah, there'd be 80 pins to make up in 3 frames.
The only way there's a chance if he goes open throughout the sheet. There's one.
You never know, folks. Keep fighting.
As we jump down to the scratch, Armando Godoy,
Continues his pin assault.
he gets right back on where he left off.
I do have to thank Armando for allowing me to see all the neat animations that the screen has to show for striking. Because he has shown us everything from 1 strike to 11 in a row today. And perhaps he can extend that one more this match.
It's like you know. There's a double for Armando to try to keep a lead over Kyle Sherman. Jump back down to the handicap division as Beckham stepping up in the 8th. Goes Brooklyn and gets the 5-pin out.
And that technically gives him the scratch lead in the match.
Indeed, it does.
But there is still 60 pins of hair that he has to make up.
As you see Beckham here, trying to make a double. Going a little left in the 1-3-6. As we make our way back down to the scratch division, Kyle Sherman, as you saw on the monitor, gets 3 in a row. Trying to keep himself in this match, as it looks like they're approaching the 8th, maybe the 9th frame.
And although he may not win, Blaze Beckham had a heck of a day bowling, made it through his first match, and we may need a score correction there. He did convert that last spare in the 9th frame.
So Hunter Reichert is coming up into the 28th, on the lane 28, I should say, in the 9th frame, leaving the 1-2-9. So Hunter's going to come up and try to convert this spare to give him a decent sized lead. misses just a little left, but he will get the 2-8, 2-9 out of there.
And this will be Hunter Reichardt's victory lap, as mathematically he has been declared our winner here in the handicap division of the MJT at St. Charles Lanes. Congratulations to Hunter.
Congratulations to Hunter, and also congratulations to Blaze Beckham. Even though he did not win, he would be walking away with a $100 scholarship, as Hunter Reichert is going to be walking away with the championship prize of $200 in scholarship prize. As we look back down in the scratch side, close match from what it looks like. It's hard to tell from down here. As Armando's going to step up with at least the 3 in a row. The final score for Hunter Reichert, he's going to finish off his handicap match, 117 handicap, 240 with the handicap total added. Here's Blaze Beckham on 28, gets the strike. As Armando Godoy down there, it's 4 in a row now. Shot comes up a little high, leaving the big 4.
Kyle seeks to follow that strike up with another one. Unfortunately, leaves a 9 pin.
From the way the body language looks, it looks like Kyle might be defeated. It's hard to tell what the score is from down here. As he doesn't get any of it. As there you go, the final score. Hunter Reichert is the MJT winner here at St. Charles Lanes, as Blaze Beckham comes in second.
And we just had a scoring confirmation from tournament director Ricky Matsko that Armando can strike out here for 279, while the best Kyle can do is a very solid 220. And while Kyle has bowled great today, Armando will continue his pursuit to the title.
So Armando Godoy is going to advance to be bowling Mick Eaton in the semifinal match here at the championship game. We're going to bring it into the booth cam here. We have the champion Hunter. Let me make sure I got this. Reichert sitting down with us here. Let's get everything situated. You can put that on. Put the microphone on. And we're going to bring the booth cam on you. So, how does it feel to be the MJT winner?
I don't know.
You don't know? Did you enjoy having fun? Did you bowl good today?
Yes.
What about this did you enjoy? What did you like?
All my friends were here.
Your friends were here? I see that your mom, is that your sister over there watching you?
No, that's my cousin.
That's your cousin? Well, are you looking for, would there be any chances you would be bowling this again, try to make more money?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. Congratulations, and we'll be seeing you at more events. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Hunter Reichert. Our next match that will be going on is going to be Armando Godoy. He will be going on the pace. Mick Eaton.
And if Armando Godoy can finish this 279 for the last 4 games, he will average 266.
I'm going to say that Matt Pearson might have competition. Because let's think of this. This is his 4th game. So if Armando can make it to the championship game, let's count his last 6 games. That's very impressive.
Who shoots the higher 1,500?
Who will do it? That's a very good question.
But in order to bowl that 6th game, Armando will have to defeat Mick Eaton, and if he has anything to say about it, I'm not sure if that will happen.
As we're going to come to the booth camera here, we are going to be getting our other cameras situated for the semifinal match between Armando Godoy and Mick Eaton. 279 to 220, I believe it was. Armando Godoy defeated Kyle Sherman. And, if you shoot 220, you think, okay, that's really good. That's a possible way to win this. But when your guy goes 279 on you, there's really nothing that you can do about it.
I mean, 220 sounds good, but when you consider the cut score was 115 over, that was the average of the last guy to make the cut. So, solid game by Kyle. I'm sure some of it was pin break, but Armando just throwing it too well.
So we're right now moving cameras. It'd be awesome to put this on to see what it is behind, but we're gonna let the camera go. It's actually pretty neat seeing all the. You're just looking at all the fans behind it, but we're gonna stick into the booth. But like we said, our next match coming up is Mick Eaton, who we're gonna bring into this camera right now. Mick Eaton versus Armando Godoy. Armando was the number 4 seed going into the round of 8, as Mick Eaton was the number 3 seed. So it's going to be an interesting match. Mick Eaton has bowled good all day, putting up a score of 280. I believe it was game 3. So there's the possibility that he's going to put some big numbers up. And from what it looks like, Mick's throwing the Platinum Ringer, while Armando Godoy is throwing an IQ Fusion. So a very good match. It's going to be very interesting, and I think it's going to be a showdown to the final frames.
Now Mick will have to rebound. Of the 4 advancing winners in our round of 8, Mick had the lowest overall total score. Still positive, but with his final match against Ronnie Fuhia, neither one of those bowlers were able to shoot over 180, and so if Mick wants to win this match, he will have to turn back on the striking.
As from the way it looks like we have the camera set up and ready to go for behind the action. Winner of this match is going to face last month's champion, Ben Pallery. And it's going to be very interesting once we get down to that. Last month's champ trying to come out and trying to defend his title. Become the first 2-peat in the MJT. But Armando Godoy is trying to make a run into the final match, I should say.
But he will go up against the Mick Eaton.
As from the way it looks like the match is going to start getting on their way. Just for anyone that's tuning in, I am Joey Betzel. Alongside with me is Brendan Pick. This is the MJT live from St. Charles Lanes. We are in the semifinals match with Armando Godoy taking on Mick Eaton. Big scores today. A lot of scores top. There has been records set. High game of 290 by Armando Godoy. High series by Matt Pearson.
1545.
1545, who averaged over 250. 257.5. So that was a record right there. Big scores. We're going to get a little quick shot right here as you see the family getting some photos with Hunter, as we're going to jump back to the scratch division as Mick Eaton starts off this match.
Flags the head pin, leaving the 1, 2, 4, 10.
As you see all the friends getting there, trying to get a picture with each other. But once again, congratulations to all the handicap bowlers. Congratulations to Hunter Reichert to becoming the champion here at St. Charles Lanes. And also congratulations to Blaze Beckman, who finished 2nd place.
And Mick fails to convert that washout. But, you know, speaking about Hunter Reichert, it's really cool to see all of these high-caliber, very talented, high-scoring players. But it's also a nice reminder that bowling is a world full of close friends and family members. And there's a lot of fun to be had out here, too, guys.
Indeed, as you see Armando getting the 5-7 out, starting off with a strike. But even like he said, I'm like, what did you like the most? And he said that his friends were here. So that just shows you that, yeah, the kids might come here to have fun, or they're coming here for scholarship, but they're here to have fun. They're here with their friends. They're going to do everything they can to have fun and possibly make scholarship money in the process.
And you know, I was A roommate of mine is a large fan of golf, and we were watching the Masters, as you just saw Armando Godoy leave the puck there. But and before the tournament, the owner of the golf course came out and gave a large speech about how to get youth involved in golf, and the key was A, to publicize, and then B, to have so much fun that anyone watching would want to be a part of that. And I hope that we're showing you how much fun it really is to be out here, regardless of if you bowl our tournaments or not. Continue to bowl, continue to have fun, and who knows, maybe you'll be in our finals or semifinals, as Armando Godoy and Mick Eaton are right now, putting up scores of 290, 280, 785, competing in national events like Junior Gold or Teen Masters. Or maybe you just come up and have fun with your friends, but either way, keep bowling.
Indeed. For those wondering, third place of this match is going to walk away with a $100 scholarship, as second place is going to get $200. First place winner, $300.
Mick delivers a much better shot, ringing a 10-pin.
Looked really good, just wasn't what he was expecting, I should say. But that's the one thing about Brunswick. It's all about the angle of that ball. If it comes in a slightly different, it's going to leave the 10-pin. That's why people are always like, oh, Brunswick is known for 10 pins, but it's not. It's just how the ball enters the pocket. As Mick's coming up after the first frame open, and he misses the 10-pin. So back-to-back opens for Mick Eaton, as he has an 18 in the second, Armando with the 20 in the first. As you can see, Mick getting situated. As you see, Mick Eaton getting set, trying to work off going the double opens.
Trying to get back on it. Doing a very quality shot, striking and getting himself as much back into the match as he can.
Indeed he does.
Unfortunately, he put two opens against the one guy right now I would not want to open against.
Like, just against Armando itself, you don't want to put an open up against this guy, because that's the reason why.
He's been doing that non-stop, it seems like, for the last 3-4 games.
As you see Armando stepping up, trying to make a double now. And indeed he does.
Indeed.
So now the pressure's on Mick Eaton just to get himself back into this match. Gonna need to put a double up.
Mick steps up here, seeking a double of his own, and
And
carries
kicks
the
the 9.
A much-needed double by Mick Eaton.
Ball came up a little high, reason why the 9-pin almost stood, but was able to get some carry in there and kick out the 9-pin.
And if you're going to struggle in a match, I always say to do it early, minimizing the damage to your total score. I mean, not that you really have a choice, but luckily enough for Mick, that is what has happened so far.
Yeah. So coming up in the fourth frame, Mick Eaton working on a double, trying to keep himself in this match against Armando Godoy.
He delivers. It looks wide and slightly light, leaving the 2-pin.
Doesn't really roll up, but like you said, leaving the 2-pin. So there's the chance that, well, there's probably, we would hope he converts it. as he easily converts it. As you see Armando Godoy now stepping up here into the 5th frame, working on a double.
Armando looks to continue the streak and does so.
And he does. As Armando coming up to continue the streak, and indeed he does.
Once more, slaps the 5 against the right wall. That makes 4 in a row, and Armando is on a 280 pace this game, while Mick needs to start striking if he wants to continue his time here at the MJT at St. Charles Lanes.
Now it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The pressure with Ben Pallardy sitting on the bench. You see a guy come up and go 270, and he's about to possibly shoot 280. You're thinking, you hope you're going to do the same thing.
I mean, at that point, you almost have to ignore what the other guy is doing, just like Mick tried to ignore what Armando's doing and throws up a strike of his own, impressively kicking the 7 and 10 out late. But yeah, if you're Ben, you just know that you can you just know that you can step up and that you're the #1 seed for a reason, and you keep that confidence going through the match and try to take it back home.
As Mick Eaton trying to get onto a double now, as he's working on the 7th frame. As once again it comes up light on that lane. Not sure the reason why, if maybe it's just the lane or if he's not really hitting where he wants.
Yeah, he doesn't look as confident as he normally is, and the footwork on those last 2 light shots almost looked like he bounced out of him a little bit.
As Mick coming up to convert the 2-8. And only takes off the 2-pin. So currently right now he has a 115 in the 7th. Possible 205 if he punches out. But right now Armando is in the driver's seat with 4 in a row on a 280 pace.
And with a double here, Armando can all but lock this match up, and there's the first. And that drops a nickel, folks.
So through 7, he's got 160. Pretty much a shot right. Another strike right here will lock this match up. And there it is. Armando Godoy, 8 frames in, already locks out Mick Eaton, as he will go on to face last month's champion Ben Pallardy in the championship round. This is unreal. If he shoots 280, Armando Godoy's last 5 games will come out to a total of 1349, which means he's averaging 268 for the last 5 games. But that's if he punches out first 280.
So we were talking about who would shoot the higher 1500 to beat Pearson's original 6, while Armando's would not count because there was practice in between and so on and so forth. He would need to shoot a 201 in the title match.
Only
Only.
a 201.
Although, I don't think 2-1 would be enough to beat Ben Pallardy. And
I don't think it will. As you see Armando coming up, and he gets the 1 in the 9th. So that's 7 in a row for Armando. As you see on the live stream, we are getting our last camera pair set up for the championship match. Mick Eaton, on the other hand, puts up a double approaching the 10th frame. As like we said, he could possibly shoot 205, but it's not going to be enough against Armando Godoy as he leaves a 8-pin.
buries an 8-pin, and that kind of just explains what happened to him this game. You throw the ball the best you can, but when you're bowling against the force that is Armando Godoy on the strike fest he's having, there's really nothing you could do, folks.
As you just saw there, Armando puts up the back 8 right now. So no matter what, he's going to shoot 270 again. I'm just saying this. Armando is a wrecking machine. And he gets out the 10. Now, like we said, if he strikes here, he's going to shoot a total for 5 games of 1344.
So, for those of you watching at home, here's what happened. Going into the end of our qualifying, Armando is sitting in 8th place. Needs a good performance to keep himself locked. High competition above him, high competition below him. Oh, that's no pressure for him. He goes back 11 for 290. First match of the round of 8.
Oh, and he gets the trip.
Shoots
the 280 in the championship, in the semifinal match.
Needs to win his match against fellow teammate Riley Smith, and to do so shoots just shy of 500 for 247, 248, but that's not enough. No, he moves on to the stepladder, seated in the 3rd and 4th first match of the stepladder, shooting 279, but that is not enough. And then this next step of the stepladder, one upset literally with a 280 to meet two-hander Ben Pallardy, our reigning champion two-handed bowler, looking for 2 titles against the red hot Armando Godoy.
Now here's my question. Armando Godoy is going to come up on the championship match in lane 27 and 28. He's gone up every game in this roll-off, in this step ladder. Are we going to see what we've been wanting to see the whole time? Because I feel like he's the only guy. Maybe Pallardy could give it a run.
Now you got to remember, Pallardy he started the day on the front 9.
I understand,
yeah.
But the way that Armando is bowling, I really think this is the time where we can possibly see that 300 game we've been talking about.
I would absolutely love it. Although he's been increasing by 1 pin, so who knows? Maybe he shoots a Ben Houston Johnston 281.
Maybe we can pull it up.
But you'll have to stay tuned to find out, folks. You'll have to stay tuned.
As you see from behind here, we have the view, but we also move the back camera. We brought it in front of them. Give it a little interesting view going into this championship match.
And folks, that's what both Ben Pallardy and Armando Godoy look like when they've delivered a successful shot.
For those of you wondering, this hand that's over in the corner that's waving, this is where we are. We're pretty cool over here. But as you see, looks like Ricky's down there getting the handicap scores off, so it's all scratch. As Ben Pallardy getting a couple last warm-up shots up. But this is going to be a match.
Joey, it's Ben versus Armando, but it's also you versus me. These were the 2 we picked at the beginning of the day.
Was the 2. I never really thought about that. Called it from the beginning. We have the two-handed force versus the machine.
The reigning champion.
The reigning champ.
The red hot
Armando
Godoy.
As Armando's going to start this match off. Going a little light, leaving the 4-pin. I'm not used to seeing him leaving 9 count.
Yeah, we're going to have to pay close attention to the next shot. We're not really sure what a spare attempt from him looks like. We haven't seen one in a while.
But we will find out. But knowing Ben Pallardy is probably going to give Armando Godoy a run for his money too. So don't count out anyone, I really should say, because this is going to be a match. For the people that are tuning in and watching this, you are about to witness a very good championship match. You're looking at Ben Pallardy right now stepping up on lane 28, last month's champion, Frontier Lanes, as Armando Godoy is just a machine today. As Ben Pallardy comes up and gets the first one to start off the championship
Delivers
match.
the first strike of our championship match with the mastermind genius, which was the ball he started today with and seems to have been continuing his success through hopefully this match as well.
From the way it looks, it does not look like he has made the ball change. All he's done, and I really don't even think he's moved that far left.
No, I'd increase ball speed, perhaps slightly change the hand position, but he does leave a 4-pin there.
It's coming a little high, so there's a possibility of a 290-280 match.
Yeah,
It can't be 300-300, but
fortunately we will not see our 300 this tournament. But we both here in the booth still want to see a 300, so if you folks at home could please come to our next tournament and throw one for us, that would be fantastic.
which is tomorrow. So we're asking you, please shoot a 300 for us.
Until then, we will have to make do with watching Ben Pallardy spare that 4-pin as Armando Godoy steps up to answer back on lane 28.
Now, Armando earlier in game 9 shot a 290, so he has the potential to do it with how he's been throwing the ball. And that one's 10 in the pit.
Slices the rack, kicks the 7 late, and nothing left.
So after the 2 frames, each bowler has a 20, but Armando has the advantage with the strike.
All right, here's what I want to see. Armando strikes up to the last ball, bows to match Ben Pallardy's 280, and then they do like a 30-ball roll-off. Just keep me here all night, folks.
Keep me here all night. There is a fundraiser event that will be going on, and I don't think they will like that. As you see Armando stepping up in the 3rd frame. Ball comes high once again, leaving another 4-pin. So now the pressure's getting on.
And keep in mind, folks, that this particular pair, lanes 27 and 28, was also home to the stepladder matches of Handicap, and so it does have a few more games on it than the rest of the pairs in the center.
It does. As you see, Armando easily converts the 4-pin, giving him a 40 in the 2nd. So now Ben Pallardy steps up, looking to try to get at least a double start to get in the first one here.
You can't get 2 before you get 1, and there is the 1.
There is the 1. As here's Ben Pallardy coming up in the 4th now. As you just saw, struck his last time up, looking to possibly extend this lead. And indeed doubles. So now that's going to be huge because no one has put a strike on 27 yet until Pallardy. So now we have a interesting match. Now Armando can get right back into this with this strike, which we're indeed hoping to possibly see. Ooh.
And nearly 8 10s.
Almost 8 10s. Kicks out the 10 late, so he just leaves an 8-pin. As Armando goes to cover the 8-pin. And does so. So just like you said, though, no matter what, a 201 will tie Matt Pearson, right?
A 201. Although
I'm pretty sure Armando is going to beat that, though.
honestly, though, I think Armando would much rather win the match than beat a 6-game record that won't actually count for anything.
It'll count in my book. You see Armando coming up. Another 4-pin.
Goes high again. He will have to figure out how to get the ball down lane, especially on lane 27.
That's the third 4-pin on 27. It'd be interesting to see if he's made any adjustments left or if he's trying different hand positions. As he easily converts the spare.
Indeed.
Indeed, indeed. As here we go, Ben Pallery stepping up in the 5th frame, working off a double, possible 280 pace. As he's going to try to put his foot on the gas pedal here and extend his lead.
Ben Pallery, lane 28, in search of back-to-back MJT titles. Here's the delivery.
And indeed, he gets it.
Indeed.
Pallery puts up 3 in a row. Coming up here in the 6th now to try to put 4 in a row to extend his lead over Armando Godoy.
Hoping
Oh,
to make
this one was a little in.
hoping to make it 4. Ben Pallery goes through the face, leaving the 3-6-10. He will need to run it in to maintain his lead over Armando Godoy.
Spare here will definitely help, but an open is going to definitely open the door against Armando. Like we said, he's the one guy you do not want to open against right now. And indeed covers the 3-6-10.
He converts no problem.
I've been realizing I'm saying indeed so much. I gotta think of a different word to come up with.
How about indubitably?
Indubitably. Because here's Godoy trying to get back on it.
Doesn't like it. And
Oh.
for good reason, leaves a 4-6.
A possible chance to get back into it. Coming high, leaving the 4-6.
And you saw that one was left right off of his hand. Grabbed it, perhaps in anticipation of needing to get on the slight opening that Ben Pallery left him. And now Armando's looking at the first open in a long time.
As of right now, score update, Armando has a 105 off that open in the 6th frame, as Ben Pallery has 117 in the 5th, working off the 7 spare in the 6th. So right now, Armando's trailing by a little over 30 pins, but there's a possibility, there is a chance he can get back into this.
And again,
And then
Armando leaves a 4-pin on lane 27.
Another 4-pin. That's his 4th one. He has not struck on that lane, but he has 4-pinned every shot.
4 4-pins. Could be the difference in this match, folks.
As he easily spares it. Trying to get himself back in this match as Ben Pallery right now with the lead, looking to put his foot on the gas pedal and become the first back-to-back champion for the MJTs. As Ben Pallery gets another one, extending his lead. As here's Ben Pallery stepping up in the 8th, working off that strike.
Another strike here would almost lock it up.
Oh. Try to get the reaction of that one. An 8-pin. Oh, my.
Ben seems almost unfazed.
Oh, my.
And That will at least give Armando a chance in this match, although he will still be down a considerable amount.
But there is a little bit of an opening now.
And Ben converts the 8.
Just slightly, though. As we take a look at the possible score opportunities here, Armando Godoy could punch out for a 225, as Ben Pallardy could shoot 237. So the match is still close.
And Armando needs to strike here very badly.
Light Swisher doesn't get the 7 out.
He throws his arms up, doesn't know what to do. Has been striking for so long and now just can't figure out how to get all 10 back.
As Armando steps up, easily converts the 7 pin. As here we go. We enter the 9th frame here. Armando Godoy
Needs to strike out. Well, at least strike here to give himself a chance to go positive on the game. And rings a 10 pin.
can't get the carry. Just not getting the reaction. It's pretty much Ben Pallardy right here. Strike will seal it.
And it does not
Coming up a little light, leaving the bucket. So Armando can spare, which he does.
A spare here will mathematically eliminate Armando Godoy. However, for all intents and purposes, Ben Pallardy has successfully defended his MJT youth title.
Chops the bucket, though.
And
now he needs a mark.
Needs a mark.
Needs a mark.
I spoke too soon, folks. I spoke too soon.
Armando Godoy still has a chance to win this match.
Needs to step up and throw all 3 strikes in the 10th, something he is not foreign to at all, and force Ben to strike or mark.
And that's going to come up light.
And now it is over.
As Ben Pallardy definitely emphasized it right there. Strikes in the 10th. And there it is, the back-to-back champ.
2 hands to hold both of his titles.
Ben Pallardy is going to come out the number 2 seed overall today. Comes out once again as the champion of the MJT.
And an impressive streak by Armando Godoy, averaging well over 250 for his last 6 games at competition.
There's nothing to be ashamed about. As Armando finally strikes, as you can see, he's definitely happy he did. But like we said, 201, he would have beat Pearson's last 6 games.
Falls slightly short, but congratulations to Ben Pallardy for defending his championship, to Armando Godoy for taking 2nd in today's tournament, and to all of our bowlers who competed today, winning money in various forms. And hopefully you guys had fun.
Indeed. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up a little bit early. We usually do the interview and all that, but unfortunately there is an event that's going on here at St. Charles, so we have to wrap everything up. Tune in tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. We have our Mott tournament, the Midwestern Open tournament. It's a no age limit. Anyone that's interested in bowling, come out tomorrow. $55 entry fee. We will see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.